Welcome to Business Book Daily. Today I'm breaking down a book about how a low-budget baseball team used better data, sharper judgment, and a willingness to ignore old-school thinking to beat richer competitors. I'll cover the big idea, the practical business lesson, and 3 sharp insights you can use right away. Let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Want to grow revenue without adding fixed payroll? A lot of smart operators hire commission-only reps, experienced salespeople who get paid only when they produce results. If that sounds like a smarter way to scale, post your opportunity at commissiononly.com. Thousands of motivated reps are actively looking for performance-based roles right now. Commissiononly.com. Today's book is Moneyball by Michael Lewis. Lewis is a journalist and best-selling author, known for explaining how smart outsiders use better thinking to beat powerful incumbents. His core argument here is simple. You do not need the biggest budget to win if you have a better way to measure value. That's what makes this book useful. A lot of industries run on habit. People believe certain traits matter because they've always believed it. They hire the same way, reward the same signals, and spend money on the same kinds of talent. Moneyball shows what happens when someone stops asking, "What does everybody admire?" and starts asking, "What actually drives results?" In the book, the Oakland A's could not afford to buy the star players wealthier teams wanted. So instead of copying the market, they looked for players the market had priced wrong. They focused on overlooked stats and ignored some of the traits baseball insiders were obsessed with. That let them build a winning team without spending like the Yankees. That idea travels well outside sports. Most markets have the same blind spots. They overvalue what looks impressive and undervalue what quietly works. They chase prestige, polish, and familiar signals even when those signals do not predict performance very well. One of the strongest lessons in the book is that market inefficiency is where the opportunity lives. The A's did not win by finding perfect players. They won by finding mispriced players. In business, that means asking where your industry consistently gets value wrong. It could be a customer segment others ignore, a hiring profile others dismiss, or a channel others underestimate. If the market is biased, there may be room for you to be smarter. Another major lesson is to measure what actually drives the outcome you care about. Traditional baseball scouting loved appearance, style, and familiar stats. But the A's focused more on what helped produce wins. That's a brutal but useful reminder for business. Popular metrics are not always helpful metrics. A number only matters if it connects to the result you're trying to create. The book also shows why expert consensus should be questioned when the evidence is better. Baseball was full of experienced people who were confident in their judgment, but confidence did not always equal accuracy. That happens in business all the time. Industry wisdom often sounds solid because it is repeated constantly, not because it has been tested honestly. And maybe the most important lesson is that one smart insight is not enough. The A's did not make one clever move and call it a day. They built a system around evidence, budget discipline, and a consistent logic for evaluating talent. That's the real advantage. Better decisions compound when they are part of a repeatable operating model. So how do you apply this? Start by identifying the result that matters most in your business. Then ask whether your team is measuring the true drivers of that result or just the most familiar ones. Many companies track what is easy to count instead of what actually predicts success. Next, look for places where your market may be wrong. What does everybody in your industry admire that may not matter as much as they think? And what gets overlooked that may be more valuable than it seems? That question alone can lead to better hiring, better positioning, and smarter allocation of resources. Then audit your decision-making process. Where are you relying on taste, tradition, or seniority instead of evidence? That does not mean instinct has no value. It means instinct should not get a free pass when the numbers point another way. Finally, be willing to organize around what you learn. Finding an inefficiency is useful only if you act on it. That may mean changing who you hire, what you reward, how you score performance, or where you place your bets. Now here are 3 insights worth sharing. First, most industries do not reward the smartest company. They reward the company that sees value more clearly than everyone else. Second, big budgets are helpful, but they often hide lazy thinking. Better measurement can beat bigger spending when the market is pricing the wrong things. Third, Competitive advantage often starts with a simple move. Stop admiring what your industry admires and start measuring what actually works. Today's closing sponsor is memoirghostwriting.com. Many of the best business books begin as ideas leaders have been refining for years. Memoirghostwriting.com works with founders, executives, and industry experts to turn those ideas into polished business books that build authority, attract leads, and open doors. They handle the interviews, structure, writing, editing, and publishing support. If there's a book in your head that should already be helping your business, learn more at memoirghostwriting.com. That's it for today. See you next time.